Can you hear me? Tienen apagados sus micrófonos. Your mic is turned on.
Pascual.
Sí escuchamos, Pascual, pero estábamos en mudo.
All right, should I let him in now? Admit all? Or should we wait until Ceci's here?
Mute.
If I let him in, I could say hello.
Yeah.
And let them know that we're still waiting for some people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mute us. No.
I'm gonna say hello.
Okay. Oh, gonna go out.
Okay. Okay. Hey, everybody. We're going to wait for a few more folks. And while we do that, I am going to try my new tech skills to see if I can put a video on for us to watch. Okay. So, Ceci? All right, let's see if I can do this. So the videos that I want to show right now, just to sort of put us in a place, we'll be hearing from Cecilia and we'll be hearing from Pascual, and they are Quechua from the Andes region of Ecuador. So they have a couple of videos that they created for their agroecological business. And we just wanted to show you a couple of those videos of the countryside, where they're from. You may see some fields of different crops like quinoa, which is a very important crop to the Quechua people. And you'll see a very beautiful Andean countryside. Okay.
Bueno, yo voy a estar haciendo la parte de español, ya que hay algunas personas que hablan español nos están acompañando. Entonces vamos a empezar la presentación con algunos videos que muestran Ecuador. Las personas que nos acompañan hoy son Pascual y Cecilia, y ellos son personas quichua de Ecuador. Entonces vamos a empezar con unos videos, también esperando si se une alguien más.
Gracias, Eli. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Show sound. And then we will go. Okay, let's unmute myself and then let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody. We want to thank you all for joining us tonight. We know that there are many places to be tonight, and so we're very grateful and pleased that you decided to join us here. So let's see, just some quick welcomes and some announcements. We are recording tonight. I want to let everybody know that. We're also live streaming on the Runa Sumak Mikui YouTube channel, which is the channel from where those videos you just saw. It's the small collective, the business that Pascual and Ceci are a part of, the agroecological business that they'll talk a little bit more about this evening. So I just want to briefly introduce myself and Ellie as well. We're joining you today from the University of Maine. My name is Sarah Loudon, and I'm a PhD student in the Anthropology and Environmental Policy program. Ellie is from Guatemala, and she is here as a PhD student in Ecology and Environmental Studies.
Bueno, muchas gracias por estar aquí esta noche. Solo algunos anuncios como parte de esta bienvenida. Estamos grabando esta conversación y además estamos transmitiendo en YouTube en la página de Runa Sumak Mikui, que es el negocio agroecológico de los compañeros que nos están acompañando hoy de Ecuador. Y nosotros ella es Sara Loudon, es estudiante de doctorado de PhD en la Universidad de Maine en antropología, y yo soy Eli, también soy estudiante aquí en UMaine, y soy de Guatemala y estaré traduciendo.
Gracias, Eli. All right, so I'd also like to recite the land acknowledgement that the University of Maine has created with members of the Penobscot Nation. So I'm going to read that now. The University of Maine recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island in the homeland of the Penobscot Nation, where issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy, the Maliseet, and the Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. The university also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination.
Vamos a leer el reconocimiento territorial de la Universidad de Maine, ya que la universidad está localizada en la isla Marsh, que es tierra nativa de la nación Penobscot, donde hay conflictos o problemas de agua y de derechos de agua y territoriales en lugares sagrados desde hace tiempo hasta actualmente. Penobscot, la nación Penobscot está conectada a otras naciones tribales Wabanaki, los Passamaquoddy, Maliseet y Micmac. A través de alianzas y diplomacia, la universidad reconoce que la nación Penobscot y las otras naciones tribales Wabanaki son soberanas legales, son entidades soberanas legales y políticas con sus propios poderes de autogobernancia y autodeterminación.
Gracias, Eli. And we also want to acknowledge that many of those joining us today are situated in the traditional territory of the Quechua people of the Andes. And our speakers tonight will share with us more about their relationship to this land.
También queremos reconocer que muchas de las personas que están unidas hoy a esta reunión están situadas en territorio tradicional quichua en los Andes, y nuestros quienes van a dar la charla esta noche van a compartir con nosotros un poco más de su relación con la tierra.
Okay, and just a few thank yous before we get started. We want to thank the Department of Anthropology at the University of Maine, as well as the university's Cultural Affairs Diversity Lecture Series for funding the event. We also want to thank the Office of Multicultural Student Life, as well as ILADES, which is the Technological Institute. It's a college in Quito that houses the Ancestral Knowledge Program. We want to thank our speakers tonight, Cecilia and Pascual, and a big thank you to Eli, our translator, who's worked really hard to help us tonight. So thank you. Thanks, Eli. And I also want to give a big welcome and thank you to the director of the Ancestral Knowledges Program at ILADES, Cristian Almeida Magister. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Bueno, queremos agradecer antes de empezar a la Facultad de Antropología por patrocinar este evento, a la Oficina de Vida Estudiantil Multicultural, al Instituto Tecnológico Superior de Estudios Sociales Los Andes, a nuestros oradores de la noche, Pascual y Cecilia, y también queremos dar las gracias a Cristian Almeida, que es el director de carrera de Saberes Ancestrales de ILADES.
Okay, so we are excited for this opportunity for this intercultural exchange from South America to North America. And our vision for tonight is simply to help build this bridge across the Americas so that we can learn more about each other's knowledge, traditional wisdom, and how that might relate to our own lives.
Estamos emocionadas de tener esta oportunidad esta noche de compartir y hacer este intercambio cultural entre el sur y el norte, de poder construir este puente entre los diferentes saberes y las diferentes culturas y conocer más sobre los saberes tradicionales ecuatorianos y cómo se pueden relacionar con nuestras vidas.
And I just briefly want to tell a short story, how I met Cecilia and how I met Pascual. These are our esteemed speakers tonight. And about 10 years ago, I was on my first trip to Ecuador and I was leaving the archives of a university in Quito. And Pascual and I ran into each other and we started speaking, and that connection has been maintained over the last 10 years. Pascual introduced me to Cecilia, and over the last decade, I've learned about their work that they're doing in Ecuador. And I'm so happy that they can share with us tonight because the work that they're doing is very important.
Sara nos contó la historia de cómo ella conoció a Pascual y Cecilia. Ella conoció a Pascual más o menos hace 10 años, cuando ella estaba visitando Ecuador, en un trabajo visitando a los archivos de Flaxo en la Universidad de Ecuador. Y ahí fue cuando conoció a Pascual y Pascual introdujo a Cecilia luego, y esa amistad y ese trabajo se ha mantenido a través de estos 10 años. Y Sara considera que ha aprendido mucho de Ceci y de Pascual y está honrada de poder tener este evento y que nos.
So a few weeks ago, Pascual told me about the prophecy of the eagle from the north and the condor from the south coming together again after 500 years. And we believe that this is what's happening right now. The eagle and the condor are coming together, and that unity, which we're all a part of, will create a new level of consciousness for humanity, one that respects and one that protects land and culture.
Hace unas semanas, Pascual contó a Sara la profecía del águila del norte y el cóndor del sur, que después de 500 años se están uniendo, y a través de esta unión creemos que se va a llegar a otro nivel de conciencia de la humanidad, fomentando el respeto y la protección de la tierra y de las culturas.
And tonight, as we all know, we'll be talking about Quechua traditional knowledge. the Elades Institute offers this ancestral sciences program, and it's one of the only programs of its kind, not only in Ecuador, but the entire region and potentially the entire world. This is a really innovative program. The program aims to generate alternative spaces so that traditional knowledge continues to be transmitted from generation to generation and to promote this new vision that respects plurinationality.
Esta noche estaremos hablando del programa de conocimientos o saberes tradicionales quichua que da el Instituto ILADES. Este es un programa bastante único en su clase, no solo en Ecuador, sino que en toda la región y quizás en todo el mundo. Este programa lo que busca es generar espacios alternativos donde los saberes tradicionales puedan continuar siendo transmitidos de generación a generación y promover nuevos espacios y nuevas visiones que respeten la plurinacionalidad.
Okay, and before we begin, I invite you all to ask questions for our speakers. Once they're finished presenting, you can raise your hand and we'll unmute you, or you can go ahead and write your question in the chat box, but we would love to hear your thoughts and your questions as well. And I would invite anybody who is a part of the Elades Ancestral Knowledges program to feel free to jump in. If the director is here tonight, again, welcome, and please feel free to offer any information that you think is important or will add to tonight's event.
Antes de empezar las presentaciones, queremos promover que quien sea de ustedes tenga preguntas pueda hacerlas en el chat o pueda encender su micrófono y participar. También si está presente el director del programa, nos pueda compartir algo que quiera decirnos previo a las presentaciones, o si hay compañeros de Ecuador, también siéntanse libres de participar cuando quieran.
Okay, so Cecilia, if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you tonight. Our first speaker, Cecilia Muyo Naula. She is from Chimborazo, which is a sacred mountain to the north of Quito, I believe, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Cecilia has a degree in business administration and accounting. She has much experience working with credit unions as both a trainer as well as serving on several administrative boards. And she has nearly 2 decades of community work in various areas, including community organization and leadership, and working with youth and different churches in the area.
Cecilia Naula, que nos acompaña hoy, es de Chimborazo, una montaña sagrada en Ecuador. Ella tiene un grado, una licenciatura en administración de empresas o gestión empresarial y también en contaduría, y tiene experiencia trabajando con cooperativas, trabajando como capacitadora y en diferentes puestos en juntas directivas. Ella tiene casi 20 años de trabajo comunitario en varios temas y también en puestos de liderazgo en la comunidad.
Okay, Ellie, I will go ahead and control the slides for the presentation if you're ready to begin. Oh, sorry, Cecilia, not Ellie.
Ceci, ahora Sara va a poner las presentaciones y vamos a comenzar.
Okay, can you do full screen?
¿Dónde está su?
Okay, Ceci, are you ready?
¿Estás lista, Ceci? Creo que debes encender tu micrófono.
Listo, mi Sarita.
Okay, Ceci, we can hear you.
Ayuden, por favor, compartiendo la pantalla. Muy buenas tardes, queridas y queridos hermanos y hermanas del norte y sur de Norteamérica y aquí de Ecuador. Estamos contentos por dar este tiempo como la Universidad Maine y agradecemos a la estudianta Sara, a la estudiante Elizabeth. Muchas gracias por permitirnos para compartir estos conocimientos de nuestro Sumak Kawsay, saberes andinos para vivir en armonía con la Madre Tierra.
Good evening to everyone, sisters and brothers from the north and the south. We want to welcome here to the presentation. Thank you to the student Sarah and the student Ellie for organizing this. We want to share tonight about Sumak Kawsay, the Andean traditional knowledge, and to live in harmony with Mother Earth.
Okay, Ellie. Okay, Ceci.
A continuación tenemos como introducción. En esta presentación tiene por finalidad de contribuir para el entendimiento y fortalecimiento de la familia, Universidad Maine, área Antropología y Políticas Ambientales, para promover el enfoque intercultural en la gestión educativa, en la que se abordará lo siguiente.
So as an introduction, the purpose of this presentation is to contribute to the understanding and the strengthening of the humane family to the areas of the anthropology and the environmental policy to promote an intercultural approach in education in which the following will be addressed.
Tenemos los siguientes: nociones de la identidad étnica, diversidad e interculturalidad, Sumak Kawsay en las comunidades indígenas, la relación entre seres humanos y otros seres vivos, Minga, paradigma del Sumak Kawsay.
So we're gonna be talking about the notions of the ethnic identity, about diversity and interculturality, about the Sumak Kawsay, which is sometimes translated as good living or sacred life in indigenous communities, the relationship between human beings and other living beings, and the Minga, or which is a paradigm for the Sumak Kawsay.
Tenemos los siguientes: nociones de la identidad étnica, la identidad étnica tiene origen etimológico, reivindicación étnica, Constitución de la República del Ecuador, Ley Orgánica de Educación Intercultural.
So regarding about the notions of ethnic identity, the ethnic identity has an etymological origin, an ethnic vindication. It is part of the Constitution of the Republic of Ecuador, and it's also in the organic law of the intercultural education in Ecuador.
Tenemos los siguientes: identidad étnica, origen etimológico. La palabra identidad significa raíz, origen, originario, aborigen. Siguiente, surge de varios autores a consecuencia de la vulnerabilidad de los pueblos con el propósito de dar importancia y preocupación a la situación.
Regarding the etymological origin of the ethnic identity, the word identity means root, origin, original, and aboriginal. It emerges from several authors as a consequence of the vulnerability of the indigenous communities with the purpose of giving importance and concern to the given situation.
Tenemos lo siguiente, reivindicación étnica. Primero, surge de la discriminación, exclusión cultural del poder hegemónico. 2, afirmamos el valor de nuestra lengua y cultura propia. 3, valoración positiva de las étnicas ante la sociedad. 4, fomentar el diálogo intercultural e intergeneracional.
So, regarding ethnic vindication, it arises from the discrimination and the cultural exclusion from the hegemonic power, where we assert the value of our own language and culture, provides a positive appraisal of the ethnicities in the face of the society, and it promotes a space for intercultural and intergenerational dialogues.
A continuación tenemos inserción constitucional. Artículo 1. El Ecuador es un Estado constitucional de derechos y justicia social, democrático, soberano, independiente, unitario, intercultural, plurinacional y laico. Artículo 2. El castellano es el idioma oficial del Ecuador. El castellano, el quichua y el shuar son idiomas oficiales de relación intercultural. Artículo 27. La educación se centrará en el ser humano y garantizará su desarrollo holístico en el marco del respeto a los derechos humanos. Será participativa, obligatoria, intercultural, democrática, incluyente y diversa. Artículo 28. El Estado promoverá el diálogo intercultural en sus múltiples dimensiones.
So, as part of the Constitution of Ecuador, the first article, Ecuador recognizes itself as a constitutional state of rights and justice, social, democratic, sovereign, independent, unitary, intercultural, plurinational, and secular. Our second article, Spanish is the official language of Ecuador, but Spanish, Quichua, and Shuar are official languages of intercultural relations. Article 27, the education will be focused on human being and in guaranteeing their holistic development within a framework of respect to human rights. It will be participatory, mandatory, intercultural, democratic, inclusive, and diverse. And the Article 28, the state will promote intercultural dialogue in its multiple dimensions.
Política pública en la LOI, artículo 2, principios, literal, Z, intercultural y plurinacionalidad. La interculturalidad y plurinacionalidad garantizan a los actores del sistema el conocimiento, el reconocimiento, el respeto, la valoración, la creación de las diferentes nacionalidades, culturas y pueblos que conforman el Ecuador y el mundo. Artículo 11. Obligaciones. Las y los docentes tienen las siguientes obligaciones. Literal Q. Promover la interculturalidad y la plurinacionalidad. pluralidad en los procesos educativos.
So within the public policy in the organic law of intercultural education, the article number 2 regarding principles says that the interculturality and plurinationality, so being recognized as intercultural and plurinational, warranty to the system's actors the acknowledgement, recognition, respect, appreciation, recreation of the different nations, cultures, and communities that constitute Ecuador and the world. And the Article 11 obligations, the teachers have the following obligations: to promote the interculturality and diversity in the educational process.
Diversidad cultural. Diversidad cultural. Diversidad es un término que permite referir a la diferencia, la variedad, la semejanza y la abundancia de cosas distintas. Diversidad cultural es la convivencia, interacción que existe efectiva y satisfactoriamente entre distintas culturas. Es la existencia de diferentes culturas, la cual se ha considerado como un patrimonio cultural de la humanidad, la cual contribuye a fomentar y expandir el conocimiento, también valores como el respeto y la tolerancia.
So what is cultural diversity? Diversity is a term that allows us to refer to the differences, the variety, the dissimilarities, and the abundance of different things. Cultural diversity then refers to the coexistence and interaction that exists between different cultures in an effective and satisfactory way. Is the existence of different cultures that has been recognized as a cultural world heritage, as it contributes to the promotion and expansion of knowledge and values such as respect and tolerance.
Yupaychani, gracias, thank you.
Ceci, ¿qué significa Yupaychani?
Yupaychani, gracias.
¿Es una palabra quichua?
Yupaychani es la palabra quichua.
Gracias, muchas gracias, Ceci. Okay.
Igual, muchas gracias por dar este espacio.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment. And okay, I just want to say a couple of things. Ceci, thank you so much for the introduction to cultural diversity and ethnic identities. And thank you so much for sharing a bit about what Ecuador is doing to promote plurinationality. I think Ecuador is one of the only countries in the world that recognizes the rights of nature written into the Constitution.
Muchas gracias, Ceci, por lo que nos has compartido y por haber compartido esta introducción a diversidad cultural, a identidad étnica y a lo que Ecuador está haciendo, ya que es uno de los pocos países que reconoce el derecho de la madre tierra en su constitución.
And Ceci mentioned a couple of ideas that I just wanted to briefly define. And of course, Ceci and Pascual and anyone who knows more than I do, please feel free now or throughout the evening to add to this definition. But the idea of...
Sara va a introducir un par de ideas de las o definiciones que Ceci mencionó.
So these two definitions, the first one is Sumak, Kawsay, which you may have seen in the title. And Sumak, Kawsay, also known as Buen Vivir in Spanish, which is a pretty big idea that's been spreading around South America. And it refers to this way of life that is community-centric, ecologically balanced, culturally sensitive.
Una de las definiciones que Ceci mencionó y que queremos hacer énfasis es Sumak Kawsay, que en español se traduce o lo han traducido como buen vivir y que es uno de los conceptos que se está dispersando por la región de Sudamérica, que se refiere a un estilo de vida más centrado en la comunidad, más balanceado ecológicamente y también más respetuoso a la diversidad cultural.
And the second definition is Minga or Minca, and this refers to the Andean tradition of collective and collaborative work within indigenous communities.
Y la otra definición es Minga o Minca, que se refiere a una tradición andina de colaboración y de trabajo colectivo y colaborativo en comunidades indígenas. Y si alguien quiere agregar algo a estas definiciones, por favor, siéntase libre.
Okay, we can always come back to those terms as well. One thing while I was listening to Ceci speak about the Constitution of Ecuador and the rights of nature, or Pachamama, as Pascual is going to teach us a little bit about this idea of Pachamama, Mother Nature. And within the Constitution, it talks about respecting plurinationality, respecting diversity, respecting the rights of nature. And so this is very different than that sort of dominant Western paradigm of existing in the world. And my question to all of us really, but specifically those in Ecuador, is how is this working, right? I know that the politics in Ecuador are difficult, so it seems that it's a vision, right? It's a work in progress.
Respecto a lo que Ceci nos compartió de Sumak Kawsay y todo lo que se ha incluido a nivel de la Constitución de Ecuador, que es muy diferente a lo que conocemos, que es más vertical y que es más el poder hegemónico. Entonces, la pregunta de Sara es si nos pueden compartir más de cómo es eso en la práctica o cómo se ha aplicado, ya que sabemos que eso es más complicado.
Okay, we'd like to open it up to the group now. If there are any questions or if there are any comments, please feel free to unmute and share your question or share your comment, or please feel free to write a comment in the chat.
Queremos abrir ahorita este espacio para preguntas, comentarios o si alguien quiere escribir en el chat.
Okay. And as we move forward, please feel free to write anything in the chat at any time. You are welcome to do so. Okay, so in this moment, we are going to have a transition. But before we get to Pascual, we wanted to share a song. So I believe there are students from the Ilares Ancestral Wisdom program, and I believe they're going to share a song with us today.
Antes de pasar a la presentación de Pascual, hay un espacio que, si estamos bien, hay algunos estudiantes de ILADES que van a compartir una canción con nosotros.
So I'm gonna pass this over to Pascual. Pascual, are the students ready to sing their song?
La pasamos a Pascual. Pascual, ¿nos cuenta si están los estudiantes listos para la canción?
We appreciate everybody's patience as translating from one language to another and transmitting technology from various connections in various countries. Sometimes that just takes a little time.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I think is our group of music. So just let me ask a second, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Pascual.
Ujú.
So for those students, if you're muted, go ahead and unmute yourself so we can hear you, please.
Si pueden recordar, encender el micrófono para que los podamos oír cuando empiece.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michelle. I am a student from Ilaves, and I'm going to sing the song in Quechua. I hope you like the song. Buenas noches con todos. Mi nombre es Michelle. Soy estudiante del Ilaves y voy a interpretarles una canción en Quechua. Espero sea de su agrado. Ok. Permítame un momento hasta que mi compañero también, Israel. Ok. No sé si tal vez nos pueden dar unos minutitos para que mi compañero que toca la flauta también se pueda conectar. Pensé que ya estaba también conectado.
We're just waiting for the musician a moment.
Amapolita, Bucasisita, Amapolita, Yukamikani, Bukamayata, Yukamikani, Wayachangani, Yukamikani, Bukamayata, Yukamikani, Wayachangani, Yukamikani. Yurak Sumberu, Yukamikani, Ankasandaku, Yukamikani, Manilla Vita, Tiridita, Sordija Vita, Cucharitita, Manilla Vita, Tiridita, Sordija Vita, Cucharitita. Amapolita, Guabranicani, Ucasquisita, Guabranicani, Arini Cuqui, Amaquingichu, Tío Josico, Tío Mañito, Arini Cuqui, Amaquingichu, Tío Josico, Tío Mañito. Yuka Puyakri, Asirikungi, Puyankinishpa, Yankinishpa, Yuka Shiputri, Manakapachu, Amapolita, Yuka Mikani, Yuka Chungitu, Manakapachu, Amapolita, Yuka Mikani. Solita Gaspa, Ariniskani, Sapaya Gaspa, Ariniskani, Yuka Kausapi, Yuka Puripi, Amapolita, Yuka Mikani, Yuka Kausapi, Yuka Puripi, Amapolita, Yuka Mikani. Amapolita, Pukasisita, Amapolita, Yugami Gani, Yugami Gani, Yugami Gani, Wayachangani, Yugami Gani, Yugamaleta, Yugami Gani, Wayachangani, Yugami Gani. Gracias, Yupaichani. Thank you, everybody.
Paichani, thank you so much. That was beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were singing?
It's about I think it's about all the world, like from the three natural, also from the life. I think it's like connection with your soul from all the world.
Do you want to, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Michelle. Can you translate that into Spanish?
La canción trata sobre la Pachamama, la naturaleza, la conexión que tenemos desde nuestra alma, desde nuestro sentir con el todo, con el mundo entero.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, I thought I saw some hands up here. Let's go to... Did anybody have their hand up? I thought I saw a hand, but okay. All right, well, let's move on to our next speaker, Pascual Yepes Morocho, a good friend of mine. Oops. So he was born, he's from the Quechua community of Purua. It's very close to the sacred and energetic mountain of Chimborazo. He speaks several languages. Quechua is his primary language, as well as Spanish, English, French, and basic Latin. He has a master's degree in anthropology, and he's an expert in ancestral knowledge. He teaches in the Ancestral Knowledge Program, and he works with indigenous communities to promote this new consciousness, the Sumak Kawsay that we've been talking about, and the knowledge and wisdom of liberty and equality and social justice. He currently works as an analyst and a researcher of indigenous history, and he's also the founder of the agroecological company or collective Runa Sumak Mikwe, which I think he'll also talk about as well. He's the author of various books and articles, and there's so much more that I could say about Pascual, but in the interest of time, we'll leave it there.
Entonces ahora tendremos a Pascual Yepes Morocho, quien nace en una familia quichua en Purua, muy cerca de un lugar de altísimo valor energético, que es la montaña sagrada de Chimborazo, al igual que Ceci. Él domina varios idiomas, empezando por quichua, también español, inglés, francés y latín básico. Tiene un máster en antropología por la Facultad Latinoamericana de Ciencias Sociales, Flaxo, Ecuador, y es experto en saberes ancestrales. Él es profesor de este programa que mencionamos. Trabaja con comunidades indígenas y no indígenas, promoviendo el despertar de nuevas conciencias y saberes desde la libertad, la igualdad y la justicia social. También es fundador del emprendimiento agroecológico Runa Sumak Mikwe, que creo que nos va a compartir un poco más al respecto, y ha sido autor de varios libros y artículos.
Okay. Pascual, I'm going to share my screen now and share the presentation, and you can go ahead and begin whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us with our purpose that we have to share our knowledge, our experience, our practice from indigenous community. We are very pleased, and I am sending you this, how do you say, these blessings and these greetings from my elders my ancestors. So for us, it's very, very important to be here as a speaker today.
Buenas noches a todos. Gracias por unirse esta noche y acompañarnos. Perdón, Pascual, lo perdí. ¿Quiere decirlo en español también?
Así, muchísimas gracias, hermanos y hermanas de diferentes lugares, especialmente a los hermanos que están hoy mismo digamos, en esta reunión virtual, y también a quienes nos están escuchando y mirando por el canal YouTube de Runa Sumak. Estamos muy contentos y bendecidos en saber que tenemos rotas las fronteras y podemos compartir nuestros saberes, prácticas y conocimientos ancestrales, y los llevamos el saludo y el abrazo de nuestros ancestros para ustedes. Estamos a las órdenes. Today we are going to share about sacred life in our communities, in indigenous communities. This topic is called like a Sumak Kawsay with Pachamama or Mother Nature. In Spanish we say Sumak Kawsay con la Pachamama. So you can see here we have many relationships in different positions and levels. That first of all, we have the connection with our heaven, with the paradise, and next we have connection with the earth, and next of that we have connection between us, like people, the animals, plants, everything. We are connected each other. That is why we call Sumak Kawsay with the Pachamama or Mother Nature.
Okay, Pascual, I'm going to do my best, and if we forget something, jump in. Sumak Kawsay con la Pachamama is this good life or sacred connection with Mother Nature, with Pachamama. And that means that we are not only connected to our human communities, but we have a sacred connection to all beings that we share this planet with. That includes plants, that includes animals, that includes all of the resources, water, and mountains like Chimborazo.
As we can see in this screen, we call in Spanish la relación entre seres humanos y otros seres vivos. This means that we have to live together in a harmony with the physical forces of the Pachamama, or Mother Nature, and especially with the moon. Moon for us is like a divine, like a sacred thing. So that's why in our Mingas we call like working together. This moon is showing how we can to work, and this moon is like showing how we can act. This moon is showing how we can feed our bodies, our animals, our plants, our everything.
Okay, Pascual, are you able to reconnect, because the audio, it's difficult to hear what you're saying?
Se escucha un poco cortado, Pascual. No sé por qué.
I think in the meantime, just read this.
Pero lo que nos comentaba Pascual es sobre la...
¿Me escuchan?
Se escucha cortado. Cortado, no sé si es la conexión o el micrófono. lo que Pascual nos hablaba es entre la relación de los seres humanos con otros.
There, hear me?
Cortado. Perdón por los problemas.
Here, do you hear me?
No, maybe if you try to reconnect. We can't hear you, but Ellie is going to read the information on the slide.
Just give me a second, please. Se escucha, ñaño. ¿Qué pasa?
Bueno, lo que
Pero la
pasó
energía tienes.
O sea, sí, pero
entre la relación entre seres humanos y otros seres vivos es que en el Sumak Kawsay hay una armoniosa convivencia entre las fuerzas físicas de la Pachamama, que es la madre naturaleza, y en especial con la luna mamaquía, y que se acompaña con una alimentación balanceada.
So the relations between humans and other beings is this harmonious connection with the physical aspects of Pachamama inside of our own body and all that's around us, as well as our connection to the moon. And all of this is to be accompanied by a balanced diet. So you can see here that image to the right, the importance of having a balanced diet in this idea of Sumak Kawsay, and that is related as well to Runa Sumak Mikui, which is the agroecological collective that Ceci and Pascual are a part of. Okay, so I'll go ahead and continue here, and I'll invite as well, Cecilia, can you hear us? Cecilia, while we wait for Pascual to connect, you can hear me, would you be able to?
Hello,
Hey, Pascual, we can hear you.
So
I am coming back.
Yes, great. We are ready for you.
I'm sorry. The technology is not playing with us.
No, it's okay. I mean, these are the realities of the world we live in, and we just have to be patient.
All right, so please, can you show me the presentation slides?
Can you see them? I've shared my screen.
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
So I was telling that the relationship between human beings and other beings is to generate a harmonic life. It means that we have to work together, not only between people and also with a mom and son, because this is important for indigenous cosmovision. It brings us the food, the balanced food. For this reason, we call Sumak Kawsay, or sacred life, or good life, living each other respectfully and reciprocity.
Entonces, lo que Pascual nos comparte es entre la relación de seres humanos, no solo entre las personas, sino también con otros seres vivos, con la luna, con el sol, trabajar en conjunto. Todo eso es importante en la cosmovisión indígena, y también lo de tener una alimentación balanceada es parte del buen vivir.
Sí, efectivamente, voy a quedarme un ratito, no pasemos antes de la balanceada, que es importante para el buen vivir. Mire, nosotros en nuestras comunidades no tenemos comida enlatada, comida precocida o procesada. Tenemos alimentos vivos, alimentos sanos. Y uno de estos proyectos que había dicho la compañera Sara, nuestra colega, es que hay que balancear los alimentos. En las comunidades comimos alimentos medicinales, alimentos que tienen altas proteínas, alimentos que necesitan fortalecer todo nuestro sistema inmunológico. Entre ellos, ahí lo pueden ver, diferentes clasificaciones: algas, alimentos probióticos, hierbas, también zumos de hierbas, frutos secos, semillas, brotes, legumbres, frutas vegetales, verduras y hojas verdes. De preferencia, en nuestras comunidades comimos comidas orgánicas. Por eso nosotros resistimos a todo tipo de enfermedades. Y eso es para nosotros Sumak Kawsay. Eso es el paradise, the sacred life. Not, how do you say, like in your country, in developed country, is eating garbage. So that's why you don't have any kind of good life. If you have to live a good life, we have to change our conscious, our behavior, our habits of eating.
So he was saying that in their communities, they don't have canned or processed food. They usually eat fresh food, and that's how one way of balance the diet. But also they consume like medicinal food, high proteins, food that strengthen their immune system, as you can see in the picture: probiotics, herbs, juices, nuts, legumes, fruits, vegetables. And they also prefer to consume organic food, and all of that help them to be healthy.
Do you want to translate what he said? That we need to all eat healthier. I think that's a good point, Pascual. We could all use a little more organic, local, fresh food. It's really great that Runa Sumak Mikui is moving that forward. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide.
Please, thank you. Okay, we are going to talk about Minga. Minga means working together. Minga is the word in Quechua language. But this has kind of model how to construct the Sumak Kawsay, or sacred life, or good life, harmony life. So we can see this picture. We don't see if you are black, you are white, you are mixed, you are indigenous. Everyone, we are like a one. So we have to work together. It means a Minga. For Sumak Kawsay, for good life, we have to each other put in the one purpose, like for good life, for a healthy life. We have to work together. We have to dance together. We have to pray together. We have to cook together. We have to celebrate the feasts or any kind of parties together. Not only with my family, or not only with my close friends, as every community is working, every community is celebrating, every community is crying if someone is sad. Not only one, not my family, not my country, is everyone. This is the paradigm or model of Sumak Kawsay. For that, we have to do Minga, called, it means working together, not each one going by my own way. We have to work together in one way.
Entonces, minca significa trabajar juntos. Es una palabra que viene del quichua y se refiere a este modelo de cómo construir un buen vivir o una vida armoniosa, así como se ve en esta foto, que no importa el origen o el color de la persona, no hay diferencia, todos pueden trabajar juntos para una buena vida y una vida saludable. Debemos trabajar juntos, bailar juntos, orar juntos, cocinar juntos, celebrar juntos, y no solo con mi familia o mis amigos cercanos, sino que toda la comunidad. También si alguien está triste, pues toda la comunidad apoya. Entonces minca, que es parte del paradigma de Sumak Kawsay, significa trabajar juntos, no cada quien a su manera, sino que todos juntos por un mismo objetivo, de la misma manera.
¿A qué nos pide la minga, hermanos, amigos, señores y señoras? La minga nos pide un compromiso a todos los seres humanos, no solo a los indígenas, no solo a los de campo, al campo y a la ciudad, a los países pobres y a los países ricos. A todos nos hace que entendamos como uno y como todo, sin diferencia de ningún tipo, a querer y a amar a nuestra naturaleza, a nuestra Pachamama, a nuestra Madre Tierra, a nuestra casa, como creación divina, y preservar toda la obra humana que ha hecho hasta aquí nuestros ancestros, de cuidar de ella, de proteger a ella y de recibir de ella los alimentos, la vida, la salud. Eso nos pide la minga.
So what does minca is requesting from us? The minca asks us for a commitment from all the human beings, whether poor or rich, from rural or urban origin, and it asks us to understand each other, to understand us as a whole without differences of any kind, as well as to love nature as a divine creation and to preserve all human work or production, all the things that our ancestors have done, what they have received and taken care of before us. Está apagado el micrófono, Pascual.
I'm sorry. I was thinking that my microphone was turned on, but it was turned off. So what does mean the challenging of minga for the good life? That we have to broke the geography politics. We have like Ecuador, just one. So respecting each other, we have to work together. We don't have to see if you are older or young or women or men. We are the same family. We came from the same family. So for that reason, we have to work together in the same way. This is the main challenging. We have to broke like territorially or politically or religiously, saying if we are belong to this politics or this region of this territory of this believer, anyway, anything, we have to broke to go by one family doing the minga.
Entonces, ¿cuáles son los retos de lograr la minca y el buen vivir? Es que debemos romper estas divisiones que a veces vienen de geopolítica, de geografía. Debemos trabajar juntos, no debemos enfocarnos en ver si alguien está muy viejo o está muy joven o es mujer o es hombre, todos venimos de la misma familia, debemos trabajar juntos. El reto entonces es romper estas divisiones políticas, territoriales, religiosas, para poder lograr el buen vivir.
¿Cómo practicar la minga? La minga se practica en un reconocimiento mutuo, en una comunicación efectiva, en un diálogo, debate, en una convivencia social cohesionada, en un aprendizaje mutuo, desde los consensos de las diferencias, la cooperación y la convivencia, interacción, intercambio de saberes y experiencias. Eso es lo que sucede en la minga, pero sobre todo, refiriéndome a mi colega Cecilia, que antes resaltó la interculturalidad, aquí se practica la intercultural en este espacios de minga.
How to put the Minka in practice? The Minka can be put in practice by reciprocal recognition, by effective and responsible communication, open to dialogue and debate, to social coexistence, to mutual learning, to consensus or reaching agreement from the different perspectives, from cooperation and coexistence, and through the exchange of knowledge and experiences and trust. As Cecilia mentioned before about the interculturality, here is where we put in practice the interculturality as a way of practicing this Minka.
Okay, to finish my speech, just I'm going to say about some advantages and some inconveniences about Minga, about the Sumak Kawsay. I mean, the Minga enrich contribution opportunities to approach different cultures, being more open and respectful. People get more involved, get to know other perspectives and points of view, get to know other ways of living and other places, preparing for the society, learning to be responsible for their own differences in terms of advantages. Now we are going to list some inconveniences or disadvantages. Discrimination, lack of cooperation with the families, communication barriers, different levels of learning, lack of knowledge from own culture, how to act, limited participation in some activities. So this is the problem that we have with this society who is involved in Occidental knowledge and Occidental philosophies. This broke our dreams to maintain our Sumak Kawsay and to maintain our practice in with Minga.
Ok, entonces Pascual nos acaba de compartir, como todos, siempre hay ventaja y desventaja. Aquí a la izquierda tenemos listadas las ventajas y a la derecha las desventajas o inconvenientes. Entre las ventajas podemos ver que es un aporte enriquecedor, que se acerca a las diferentes culturas, es más abierto, respetuoso, las personas nos implicamos más en conocer más visiones y puntos de vista, se pueden conocer otros modos de vida, otros lugares, más preparación para la sociedad, se aprende a asumir las propias diferencias y también hay unos inconvenientes o desventajas como es la discriminación, la falta de colaboración de la familia, las barreras de comunicación de los diferentes niveles de aprendizaje el desconocimiento de la propia cultura, la falta de participación en algunas actividades, y todo esto son cosas que nos ayudan o nos obstáculos para lograr la minca.
All right, we are very happy. I'm sorry to this problem of a connection with a technology, but from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you everyone, and also I'm going to finish with a music, with an ancestral music called Purua Runa Mikani. What does mean Purua Runa Mikani in English? Means that I am from Purua Nation, which I belong from, and this is my land. This is my ancestral land that I am from. So thank you so much. I'm going to talk. I'm seeing if nobody is going to ask. I don't know. Thank you so much. Anyway, I'm going to give first the time to Sarah and Ellie.
Okay, thank you, Pascual. We're looking forward to your song very much. And before we invite you to sing, I would just like to open this up to questions. If anybody has any questions for Pascual, if anybody has any questions for Cecilia or for the both, please feel free again to raise your hand or to type something in the chat. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I saw a hand a couple of times. Yara Apollo, did you have a question or did you have a comment that you would like to share?
Entonces, Pascual agradeció, está muy feliz, perdón por los problemas tecnológicos, pero desde el fondo de su corazón agradece la participación de todos. Y para terminar, él nos va a compartir una canción llamada Puro Runa Mikani, que es sobre el lugar de donde él viene y es su tierra ancestral. Pero antes de la canción vamos a abrir el espacio para preguntas o comentarios si alguien tiene algo que quiera compartir o preguntar.
Okay, I actually have a question that I wanted to ask. I have a couple of questions. So I hope you don't mind me asking them before you sing the song, Pascual. But I've known you for some time now, and I would be very happy if you could share just a little bit about what this work means to you, why you do this work, why this work is important to you. And maybe Ceci can start with the answer or offer her perspective.
Antes de la canción, Sara tiene una pregunta que es tanto para Pascual o para Ceci. ¿Qué significa este trabajo para ustedes o por qué es importante este trabajo que hacen para ustedes? Si nos quieren compartir, Pascual, Ceci.
Okay. Well, for me, personally, I have many opportunities, many chances to go outside of my country. I have been in Spain, in Canada, and also in the USA. So for me, it was very painful to see how the discrimination for being indigenous was painful, not only for me, but also for my people who are Ecuadorians, who are Colombians, Peruvians, from Latin America. The discrimination is big one. So, and also I have been experiencing not only outside, in the foreign countries, but also here in my own country. So my mom, my dad said, never ever say that you are indigenous. Never ever say your own language, Quechua, never say, because you are going to pass a hard time. So I did different way. I did that they prohibited. I talk my language. I keep my own clothes, and I write about this problem. So for me was like a adept that we have to resignificar, I mean, restart our life. So for me it was painful also because nobody believes, nobody can hear, nobody likes to learn. But right now, by that way, nowadays, is many people trying to learn, trying to teach, trying to practice this life. So for me, it's kind of grateful to say thank you so much for hearing. But also for me, I'm not doing just for folklore or just for trying to say, hey, we are here. I'm saying, I'm telling, I'm living, because this is principal part of my life.
Thank you so much for that answer.
Entonces, para Pascual, él nos comparte que ha tenido varias oportunidades para ir afuera de su país, ir afuera de Ecuador. Él ha estado, por ejemplo, en España, en Estados Unidos, en Canadá, y ahí ha sido muy doloroso cuando hay discriminación, le ha tocado la discriminación por ser indígena, y no solo para él, sino para su gente en general, no solo para gente de Ecuador, sino también para otros países latinoamericanos. Y eso no le ha tocado experimentarlo solo cuando está fuera de Ecuador, sino también dentro de su país. Antes sus papás le decían que no dijera que era indígena, que no hablara su idioma porque iba a pasar un tiempo difícil o un tiempo malo. Sin embargo, él hizo lo opuesto. Él habla su idioma, él usa la ropa tradicional, y para él era una deuda de poder resignificar y trabajar por resignificar su identidad, porque antes a nadie le ponía mucha atención, pero ahora mucha gente está tratando de aprender y de practicar esta vida. Él no lo hace solo por el folclore, para decir, hey, aquí estamos, sino que es parte principal de su vida.
Thank you, Eli. Ceci, can I ask you your thoughts? Would you be willing to share a little bit about why this work is important to you?
Ceci, ¿nos compartirías un poco, si quieres, por qué este trabajo es importante para ti?
Muchas gracias, mi querida Sarita, Elizabeth y amigos y amigas. Estamos contentos y estamos compartiendo nuestras vivencias de nuestras comunidades, de nuestra familia. Para mí es un orgullo de compartir y hacer conocer y de nuestra trayectoria que hemos venido caminando. Nos mencionaba el compañero Pascual, igual hemos tenido esos pequeños problemas para hacer escuchar la voz de mujer. Un poco estuvimos un poco alejados. Gracias la oportunidad y gracias por escuchar. Mil gracias.
Yeah. So Ceci says, thanks to everyone, we are happy to be able to be sharing our lives from our communities, from our families. I am proud of being able to be sharing this. As Pascual mentioned, I have had similar problems, especially as a woman, to be heard and that our voices are heard.
Thank you, Ceci, for sharing that. And it's my hope that we can continue having these dialogues across countries and across cultures, because it's so important to give voice, particularly to women, and particularly to Indigenous women like you, Ceci. We have a lot to learn.
Entonces, creemos que es importante poder seguir teniendo estos diálogos, estos espacios de intercambio, cultural para poder seguir dando espacio a voces que no se han escuchado antes y para tener este aprendizaje mutuo.
So, okay, Pascual, I will hand it over to you, but I'm just curious, do you know, or is there a way to just raise your hand if you are a student in the Ancestral Knowledges program in Quito? I'd love to see how many people, or a teacher, are here today. Or if you're in Ecuador, just let us know. We'd love to know who's here.
Sí, tal vez ya vamos a pasar el micrófono a Pascual, pero queríamos saber si tal vez si nos pueden decir en el chat o levantar la mano quienes están en Ecuador o quienes son parte de este programa de ILADES. 2 manos. Oh, bastante. Tenemos.
That's great. We have 11 participants who've raised their hand. So that's about a third are coming to us from Ecuador. That's great. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, Pascual, unless anybody has anything else to say, I will hand it over to Pascual for his song.
Gracias a todos los que levantaron la mano, más o menos un tercio de los participantes son de Ecuador. Gracias por acompañarnos y dejamos a Pascual.
Sorry, Mr. How do you say? I mean, one person, I'm sorry, was handing the hand. I don't know, I think it's still there. We can hear, I think he is asking, Jaime Green was with a hand up. If he has any question, please.
Okay, Pascual, why don't we, let's hear your song.
All right. Okay. My song is called Purua Runamikani. I'm from Purua in English. Soy de Purua en español. Purua Runamikani, ay carajo, Purua Runamikani, ay carajo, Pita Pishmana Manchani, ay carajo, Pita Pishmana Manchani, ay carajo, Purua Runamikani. Purua Runamikani, ay carambas, Purua Runamikani, ay carambas, Yachaitanyu Kacharini, ay carambas, Yuyaitanyu Kacharini, ay carambas, Purua Runamikani. Purua Runamikani, ay carambas, Purua Runamikani, ay carambas, Mikuitanyu Kacharini, ay carambas, Mikuitanyu Kacharini, ay carambas, Purua Runamikani. Purua Runamikani, ay carambas, Purua Runamikani, ay carambas, Pita Pishmana Manchani, ay carambas, Pita Pishmana Chukchuni, ay carambas, Purua Runamikani. Yupaychani, thank you so much. Gracias por escucharnos.
Bravo. Gracias, Pascual. Gracias, Cecilia. Gracias a las otras cantantes. Thank you to all of our singers and performers tonight. Thank you to our speakers. In the chat, I have put my email address. If anybody has any questions or wants more information or wants to be connected to Pascual or Cecilia, learn more about the Ancestral Knowledges program, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to share what I'm able. And thank you, everybody. It was such a nice evening. Does anybody have anything they want to say before we go? I see a couple hands still up.
En el chat está el correo de Sara si alguien quiere dar seguimiento o tiene alguna duda, pueden contactarla o quiere contactar con Pascual o Cecilia, ella los puede poner en contacto.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we hope you continue to learn more about ancestral knowledge, whether it's Quechua ancestral knowledge or ancestral knowledge from the traditional territories where we all live. Take good care and have a good night.
Gracias por acompañarnos. Espero que hayan más espacios para compartir sobre conocimientos tradicionales de Quichua, o sea, de otros grupos. Y gracias por acompañarnos esta noche.
Buenas noches, todos. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ceci. Ceci, Pascual, do you want to stay on the talk for a moment?
Sure.
Yes.
Bye.
Angie and Christina, did you want to share? Do you have something to say?
No, I just left my hand raised. Sorry.
Okay. Ceci, muy buen trabajo.
Muchas gracias, mi querida Sarita, Elizabeth, Pascual.
Gracias a ustedes.
Todos.
Para mí fue muy divertido. Para Eli fue mucho trabajo.
Pero muy entretenido, estuvo bonito.
Y hola.
Muchas
¿cómo se
gracias,
llama?
muchas gracias.
Anita,
Muchas
Anita.
gracias también a nuestra amiga Michelle y a Israel, quienes hicieron lo posible por hacer también la cancioncita en Quichua que aprendimos en nuestro curso.
Es una canción muy bonita. Y los otros, ustedes son del programa de ELADES.
Sí, ellos son de programas de ILADES, son estudiantes de ILADES. Gracias, compañeros. A Melanie, Elena, Maga, Johnny, María Fernanda, muchas gracias. De verdad por apoyarnos, estar con nosotros. También está aquí nuestro amigo Tomás. Y muchísimas gracias a todos.
La Minga está creciendo, la comunidad está creciendo.
We are
Así es.
growing up.
Bueno, pues vamos a decir buenas noches y ojalá en el futuro podemos tener la oportunidad para conversar más.
Con mucho gusto, Sarita. Un fuerte abrazo y bendiciones a todos.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Mucho gusto haberlos conocido.
Sí, gracias.
Un
Muchos
placer,
abrazos.
igual.
Muy buenas
Thank you
noches.
so much for your good job, Eli. You are our official translator.
Va, está bien. Después de esta ya me animo a otra.
Exacto.
Excelente, mi querida
Te esperamos en Ecuador.
Elizabeth.
Muy
Sí.
bien, sí, vamos. Vamos. Y la sobrina Anita.
Anita, ¿sí?
Buenas noches, Anita, preciosa, bonita.